Today on Monkey Life, there's tragic news for the park with the loss of a hugely admired, much loved and key member of the team.
Right, Stacey, I want to listen to his heart.
As Alison and Jeremy pay tribute to their colleague, highly respected, world-renowned wildlife vet, John Lewis.
It's a serious blow, not only for us, but globally for wildlife conservation. This is a very sad, sad loss.
I mean, everybody had heard of John, and he got a reputation that I didn't think he'd be able to live up to be honest with you. But I was wrong, because he surpassed it, by far.
Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
She's alert, looking around. Quiet though, which is nice. All good.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. The park is in mourning, following some truly devastating news. Wildlife vet John Lewis, for so long a crucial component in the health and welfare of all Monkey World's primates, has died, following a short and unexpected illness. Admired by all who knew and worked with him, he was at the top of his profession.
We didn't expect John's passing. Nobody could have. And it's caught Jeremy and I off guard. It's a serious blow. It's a serious blow, not only for us, the park as a whole, our work in Vietnam, everything, but globally for wildlife conservation. This is a very sad, sad loss.
John first became involved with Monkey World just 2 years after Alison's late husband, Jim Cronin, set up the centre in 1987. Jim and Jeremy realised they needed the help of a specialist wildlife veterinarian to deal with the individual and unique circumstances of their primate rescues. At the time, they were concentrating on chimpanzees confiscated from Spanish beach photographers, and John was vital to their success.
Yeah, he was totally the right choice, and he just happened to be a fantastic guy as well. I mean, everybody had heard of John, and he got a reputation that I didn't think he'd be able to live up to be honest with you. But I was wrong, because he surpassed it, by far. Anything veterinary went through John, but he just became like part of the furniture and a really good friend, and, you know, he's part of Monkey World.
It was the start of a special relationship that lasted more than 30 years.
With John's expertise, it became very clear very quickly that he was going to be Monkey World's overseeing veterinary advisor. And indeed, all of these years later, you know, 30 or more years later, that's what he's been doing for the park. And he was always up for the challenge and, you know, helped us in so many unique situations with so many unique primate welfare cases.
John's support, in both a professional capacity and a personal one, was immense. He regularly accompanied Alison to Vietnam to visit the park's sister sanctuary at Dau Tien, where he was on hand to help and advise with gibbon and loris releases.
I would have thought they were good to go tomorrow.
He also performed checkups and procedures on primates rescued and cared for by the team on the island.
Well, we get another fan on him anyway, and then have the bucket of cold water ready.
I suppose if there's anything I need to do moving forward, I need to improve that little veterinary surgery on Dau Tien and John's memory, because that does make me sort of laugh a bit.
Job done, really.
But it was his help and expertise with numerous worldwide rescues over the years that made him an integral part of the park's work.
Let's give it a once over.
Some of the circumstances were difficult, to say the least, that we rescued apes from. And he was always prepared for it because our rescues are unpredictable. And he always took it, and he took it really well. And that was the important thing, that we had him there always to be helping look after the lives of our rescued primates.
John was renowned for his expertise in primate anaesthesia.
Okay, gas.
And performed many major surgical procedures at the park's hospital with the calm professionalism for which he was celebrated.
Tibias are a bit wonky.
Having John be happy and able to work with the raft of different human doctors that we've brought in, from dealing with hemorrhoid removal to tumors to whatever the circumstance might be, John was always really very happy to engage with and work with other people whose specialist knowledge might bring something to the party. There was never any ego involved, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that just made me love him even more.
Away from Monkey World, John was a founder and veterinary advisor of Wildlife Vets International and a key partner of the International Zoo Veterinary Group. He worked with tigers and rare Amur leopards, as well as primates and other wild animals. His death is a huge loss for wildlife conservation, and he'll be missed by colleagues at home and abroad.
It really isn't even possible to sort of just state in words how important John was to the health and welfare of the animals here at the park. His care and dedication to the smallest detail of our animals' care was extraordinary. But make no mistake, this is going to be a very heavy and sad task moving forward without John.
I think, like I said to the people at his funeral, that this is going to be a tough act to follow. In fact, I think it's going to be an impossible act to follow, and I think that covers it, really.
John's final visit to the park came only days before his death, when he partnered with local vet Dave Harding to perform life-saving surgery on Jestah, one of the park's original chimps, who he'd known since the beginning. Jestah needed major surgery to remove a large cancerous tumour from his bottom lip.
We're going to have to end going sort of right in here.
Because the whole of that lip is going to have to go.
The operation was a huge success, and the chimp's recovery has been remarkable. He's now back outside with his troop, and the wound is healing well.
We're really happy with his progress. The team are doing an amazing job in terms of his post-operative care. So we're monitoring the lip very closely. We're actually photographing it daily so that we can monitor the healing process and any changes to that area. He's eating and drinking a lot better. He's clearly more comfortable. And he's actually tolerating some topical cream as well, so that's really good. So overall, we're really pleased with him.
Come on, bud. Come on, good boy.
It's incredible when you look at it, just, you know, how successful the surgery was. You know, he's still able to close his mouth, and obviously for chimps, they make a lot of facial expressions which are really important in terms of communicating with the rest of the group. So, you know, he's got full use of that mouth again, and he's clearly so much happier.
Regular training sessions mean care team member Becky can ask Jestah to present his mouth so she can administer an antibiotic gel.
Good boy, Jestah. Well done.
He's off all oral medication. It's just a case of a little bit of cream on that lip morning and evening. Daily photos, so delighted that hopefully this will give him many more years as a member of the bachelor group.
The chimp's uncertain future was transformed by the complicated operation overseen by John, just one of the very many life-saving interventions he performed at the park over the course of 30 years. The barn woolly monkeys are in for a barrow load of fun this morning. The primate care team enjoy coming up with new ideas to keep the primates at the park interested and active. And today's enrichment challenge involves straw baskets filled with some of their favourite foods. Chippy's group of 6 are the lucky recipients.
So the idea is that we're going to suspend these up high, get some ladders in there, see how high we can get them. We'll put it in hard to reach areas, so they'll have to actually use their tail to cling on and possibly reach certain different angles, and hopefully we can see them natural behaviours that we would do in the wild.
A strong core and great balance are the key to procuring this treat. Secured with strings so they constantly swing, the baskets will prove a movable feast. But woolly monkeys do have one big advantage.
They've got prehensile tails, so that tail is incredibly strong. It's so muscly, and it's how they get around quite easily. They can use it as an extra limb, hang on to a branch, and they can reach across to various different areas, all them hard to get fruits and things like that.
It promises to be a good workout for the woolies. Leader Chippy leads them out. He's one of 2 males in the group. The other is teenager Zavi. The troop has had a bit of a shake-up recently, with 2 of the younger boys, Cassius and Lemmy, moving to the bachelor woolies. The result has been a much more settled environment at Chippy's. Completing the group are 4 females, Paquita, Quapper, and young mum Ava, along with her 8-month-old daughter, Catalina. There's lots of excited trilling as the group spot the hanging baskets and take on the task. Delve in deep enough and the woolies will find chopped up pieces of pear and bits of cereal, both favourites on these woolly monkeys' menu. Paquita gets straight to work, demonstrating how useful her prehensile tail is as an anchor. She uses it as a 5th limb and frees up her hands to reach into the basket. The group all show amazing agility as they conquer some of the more difficult, high-up hanging baskets. Chippy, however, does prefer to go for the easier option when it's available. Ava, with daughter Catalina clinging on, begins her quest for a nutritional treat. In the wild, woolly babies learn from their mums, watching closely to see what food is safe to eat, and often picking up leftover scraps. The team have spread some food around the enclosure for Catalina to find. She's a bit young to figure out the baskets, and mum might not let her try, but at least she'll be able to find some food for herself.
Ava's quite a protective mum, so it took a while for Catalina to find her feet because she'd always bring her back close to her. But she's doing really well now. Often you'll see Catalina off and about, and it's really nice to see her climbing around now.
At 8 months old, the youngster is gaining a little independence. The low-growing bushes and trees are a perfect place for her to learn to explore. It's helping to build up her balance and muscles, all under the watchful eye of mum Ava. Even at such a young age, the little woolly monkey has learned to use her tail to help her negotiate the branches. But reaching up to one of the hanging baskets might be a step too far. It's tantalisingly out of reach. But finally, her persistence pays off. And while mum Ava relaxes in the sunshine, Catalina is never far away, still exploring, learning, and loving life. Another group who love the sunshine are the park's 5 squirrel monkeys. They're about to be given a challenging form of enrichment not dissimilar to Chippy's troop, but on a smaller scale, in keeping with their slighter form. Keris from the primate care team is busy filling a collection of balls with one of the squirrel monkey's favourite foods, live mealworms.
They absolutely love bugs. I'm just sprinkling them around it, hopefully like they all
find the gaps and kind of burrow into the balls here. And then it'll, with their little hands, I'm hoping that it's a bit more difficult for them, so it will, prolong the enrichment for them and make them work harder for their bugs.
The balls are made of natural fibres with lots of holes in them, perfect for the larvae to crawl into, and just large enough for the squirrel monkeys to use their small, nimble fingers to get them out again. To make the dining experience just that bit more difficult, the balls are being suspended high up around the enclosure. The group are let out, and it's the 3 common squirrel monkeys, Lucille, Lopez and Logan, who are first on the scene. They're immediately curious about the spherical feeders. The first to spot the mealworms is youngster Lopez. He has no trouble picking off those still on the outside and uses his dexterity to reach and tackle another insect-laden ball. As well as the 3 common squirrel monkeys, there are 2 black-capped, Nueve and Old Lady Turvy. Despite her balance and agility not being quite as it was, she still makes a concerted effort, although not successful this time. Logan tries a different technique, using core strength and his back legs to cling on and attack the balls from underneath. As he reconsiders his tactics, below, Lucille makes her way through the undergrowth and selects a lower-hanging feeder. Squirrel monkeys are small and able to balance on flimsy branches to hunt and forage. Young female Nueve comes up empty-handed and isn't helped by a gung-ho approach from Lopez, which almost knocks her off the hose. The insect-laden hanging feeders have encouraged all 5 squirrel monkeys to search for the grubs, hunting and foraging as they would in the wild. Even elderly Turvy has tried her best, although impish youngster Lopez doesn't give her much opportunity, moving her on so he can muscle in. But the care team have also distributed pieces of fresh pineapple, and they're tops with Turvy. The last 18 months have been difficult for wildlife centres and sanctuaries across the country. The COVID pandemic has meant they've been forced to keep their gates shut, meaning income from visitors has dried up. But at the park in Dorset, donations from supporters all over the world have continued to arrive and helped keep the park running. Many practical donations have come in large delivery boxes, and instead of recycling them straight away, the orangutan team have been saving them up for a rather special treat.
We're building a giant cardboard tower for the orangutans to come and have a lot of fun in. We've never had as many cardboard boxes as we've got in here right now, so I think they're going to either be a little bit scared of it when they first come in, or they're going to go absolutely crazy and go through every box and tear it up, but certainly there'll be a mess at the end of the day.
Hundreds of boxes are being stacked up in the middle of the enclosure. Some are empty, and others contain the primate's breakfast. They'll have to search through each box to forage for their food. It takes the team almost 2 hours to build the box mountain. The orangutans have a grandstand view from the outside tunnels, and their curiosity is piqued. They're not sure what's going on, but they're about to find out. There's a lot of excitement as the group of 5 rush out together. There are so many boxes, no one can miss out. Sylvester establishes himself at the peak of the pile, while Oisin remains at base camp, working her way through the boxes on the ground. The least amount of effort to obtain the most amount of food is always her preference. Hidden inside are pieces of apple and carrot and whole walnuts. Oh, and the odd rubber duck toy for the youngsters to enjoy. Or not. The group gets stuck in, sending boxes flying everywhere. As the tower gradually shrinks in size. 6-year-old Rika boxes clever and comes up with a handful of walnuts. Her best friend Bulu Mata has a different technique, suspending himself above the pile just like young orangutans should and reaching down to find the snacks. It's an approach that might benefit Mimi, the youngest in the group. She's almost vanished inside the huge mound. The nursery is a great place for an orphaned youngster to grow and mature.
They all come here to learn things off of each other. They learn how to be an orangutan by being around one another. So it's a big social aspect of this today as well. Some of the babies might be learning a few tricks off of the older ones, Oisin and Sylvester, with how to get into the boxes, how to eat certain foods and things like that. So it certainly is a learning curve for all of them, just by watching each other and seeing what they're doing as well.
And the younger ones begin to understand their place in the group.
With the different ages, there does have to be an element of respect in the group. For example, Sylvester will grab a big box. There's no way that Bulu, Rika or Mimi will take that box off him, not to say that they won't try. So there's certain things that they'll learn with behaviour with regards to what to do and what not to do in the orangutan environment here at Monkey World as well.
The box tower has been almost flat-packed by the orang's enthusiasm for the task. Oisin and Mimi have moved on to a play session on a carpet of cardboard. While, just like children everywhere, the others relish the fun of hiding, sitting in, and generally amusing themselves with an empty cardboard box.
If any group in this park knows how to have fun, it certainly is the orangutan nursery. They're all fooling about with the boxes, jumping in them, carrying them on their heads, doing all sorts of things. This isn't really so much of a behaviour enrichment thing, it's just all about fun for them this morning. Lots to do. They would obviously forage in amongst things in the wild, but this is all about fun for them, as you can see behind me.
But it might be less fun for the primate care team, who still have the job of clearing up the cardboard carnage left behind. Next time on Monkey Life. Alison's on an emergency mission to the Midlands to collect a Geoffroys marmoset separated from his sibling.
So the other one, where did it go?
We don't know where he's ended up. He got sold on to somebody else and then he's been sold on since.
And Seamus bags a bounty of fruit for breakfast. Today on Monkey Life. Alison's on an emergency mission to the Midlands to collect a Geoffroys marmoset, separated from his sibling.
So the other one, where did it go?
We don't know where he's ended up. He got sold on to somebody else and then he's been sold on since.
But he's not the only new arrival. The primate care team get a big surprise at breakfast.
They're clinging on really tightly. All fingers and toes are there, so they look pretty good.
And Seamus bags a bounty of fruit. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I'm shocked. This animal is living in fear of its life at all times.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. Alison is on yet another marmoset rescue mission. This time, she's heading to Nottingham to collect a Geoffroys marmoset called Gizmo. The timing couldn't have been worse.
We haven't been bringing many animals in for a couple of reasons. We're pretty full at the park with all of our pet trade marmosets, but also it's lockdown right now, so unless it's an emergency, we're not really going out and about. But I've deemed this now an emergency. The owner's very concerned.
Gizmo was one of a set of twins, but was split from his sibling. He's only young, but he's already had numerous owners. He now lives with Emma and her family, who, concerned for his welfare, bought him for £1,000.
Hi. Hi, I'm Alison. Pleased to meet you. Sorry, such strange times. Everybody's here.
The family realised quite quickly that marmosets don't make good pets and contacted Alison for help.
We've had him for about 3 months. We did a lot of research, what my daughters did, Ellie and Lois, online, of how to look after him and what they eat. And that's where we started to realise that he was actually lonely with the calls he was making. So we've just gone from there, basically.
Gizmo lives in a cage in one of the children's bedrooms.
Do all of your clothes smell of marmoset?
No, it's not really that bad. You kind of get used to the smell.
Yeah.
But our friends have come out, my friend came round, and it does smell like monkey quite a bit in here.
Although the park is full, the recent loss of an elderly marmoset opened up a space for Gizmo, who was near the top of Alison's long list of animals in need. She's keen to gather as much background and information from Emma as she can.
So, how did you even hear about him?
A friend had got 2 of them and said, did we want one? So the other one had gone, so we decided to take Gizmo.
And so the other one, where did it go?
We don't know where he's ended up. He got sold on to somebody else and then he's been sold on since.
Gizmo's current diet is cause for concern, something common amongst well-meaning owners who don't understand the complex needs of small monkeys.
You say treat box.
The only things we can get him to eat.
Okay, so this is his food box.
Yes, along with fruit that we've got in the kitchen that we do try, but he seems to prefer grapes over anything else.
Time to meet Gizmo.
Hey, little man. Hey, Gizmo.
The family have spent a considerable amount of money trying to make the young marmoset's life comfortable. But what he really needs is access to the outdoors, companionship of his own kind, and an appropriate diet.
You want to try that?
Alison tries to gain Gizmo's trust by offering him waxworms, a favourite with marmosets.
Tasties.
Oh, he likes that.
Tasties.
He's confident enough to take the food direct from Alison's hand.
Hey, chatty man. Hey, chatty man. Good boy. Oh, that one went down really quick.
The difficult part will be enticing Gizmo into a travel box. Alison baits the inside with plenty of treats, hoping the youngster can be tempted in.
Okay, so maybe we'll line the cage up and just see if you walk in.
But Gizmo resists, so after 20 minutes, Alison enlists the help of a familiar face. And a favourite food, marshmallow.
He's just sneaky with his tail. He likes to make his tail linger.
But I can lower it behind his back if he's in.
As long as he's in, Elias, you can lower it on his tail. He's in.
There you go.
It does the trick. Gizmo is safe and secure inside the travel box.
I know. Oh my God, I wish I could give you all a hug.
Time for a few emotional goodbyes.
Good little man, I know. Oh, you see that? He looked at me and went, oh.
I know.
Okay.
But Emma and her family know it's for the best.
We didn't know he could eat wax worms, I think they're called. We thought he was supposed to have bottled water and he can actually have tap water. We have done quite a lot of research, but she did tell us quite a few things that we didn't know. I'm actually happy for him. I'm really happy that he's actually going to Monkey World and he'll be with other marmosets.
Okay.
Right, thank you very much.
You're welcome to come down anytime. I'll give you, I don't have anybody else's, but I'll let you know as soon as I'll give you an update on the road.
All right then, thank you very much. Bye.
It's a 200-mile journey back to Dorset, where the team are waiting to welcome Gizmo to his new home. For many years, the 14 chimpanzees who make up the Bachelor Boys were notorious for their rowdy and boisterous behaviour. These days, it's all a bit different. The chimps have mellowed, and age is catching up with some of them.
It's been going on for a little while with these guys that we'll see a lot of the time they are just spending time chilling out, grooming each other, sitting and enjoying the sun. It generally is a bit quieter than it was. You know, they're a group that we monitor closely, and they're a lot more mellow than they used to be.
But something's happening today that could spark some interest amongst the bachelors and pique their curiosity. The chimp team, with the help of the maintenance crew, have a new addition to their territory. It's a large silver birch tree, which needed to be felled for safety reasons and is being erected in their enclosure. It's the sort of thing their bachelor chimps should relish. The tree is enormous, almost double the size of the tallest climbing frame, and needs to be properly secured. Animal Director Jeremy is on hand to supervise and make sure everything is safe for the chimps.
Just beware of the branches when they pull them off.
Satisfied, he gives the thumbs up. With the tree secure, the primate care team scatter breakfast throughout the enclosure. It'll give the chimps something else to think about if they get overexcited. The boys are released, and there's lots of excited hooting as they approach the tree trunk. Mojo is the first to climb onto a platform for a closer look, but he's thinking of his stomach. He gives the tree a cursory glance and sets about finding breakfast. The majority of the chimps make their excitement known, but the large number of apples and nectarines scattered around the enclosure appear to be the reason. Someone's told Seamus an apple a day keeps the vet away, but his approach is a little extreme. Butch sits near the tree, but takes little notice. It's all about the fruit for him too. He's no longer leader of the group, and these days has more time to relax and enjoy himself. With the high rankers concentrating on the food, some of the lower ranking chimps have a chance to investigate the tree trunk. Kiko tries out the bark, as does Freddy. Gypsy considers attempting a bird's eye view from the top, but then has second thoughts. It's been a few months since Jestah's successful operation to have a tumour removed from his lip, and he's recovering well.
His lip has healed amazingly. We're currently weaning him off the medication that he was put on straight after his operation. So we're still closely monitoring it for any signs of change in the skin and his lip, and regularly taking photographs of it so that the vets can review it. But it's looking amazing.
The group are undergoing a transition in the pecking order, with some of the older boys taking a back seat and the likes of Mojo rising through the ranks. It can create tension, particularly when something new and exciting is happening. But not like the old days.
They would probably have been a bit more raucous about it than they were this time. And they might have had more of a bust-up about who got to go up there first. But as it was, I mean, we did put food out at the same time, so because the big lads were focused on eating the food, it meant that the little guys got a chance to go and explore it first.
The new addition to the enclosure may not have sparked the excitement of the past, but it's staying put, and it's something the chimps will explore in their own time. But there are plans afoot which may change the group's dynamic in the very near future. The team constantly monitor all the individual primates and their group dynamics. Making changes to their routines can help manage stress. The most numerous at the park are the 5 groups of capuchins. 17-year-old Erico is one of the park's youngest leaders, ably backed up by his second-in-command, Sean. Together they're in charge of another 10, mainly aging capuchins. During the day, they have the run of the fantastic outdoor enclosure, where everyone has plenty of personal space. But at night, it's very different.
They're sort of very lucky in the daytime. They've also got access to all the trees, the big enclosure. It's just when they have to come into the house at night, it's all very intense. And as I say, Sean and Erico are just a bit much for anyone, really. They're overexcitable, they're loud, and they're just a bit boisterous. They don't really know what they're doing half the time. There's just, particularly Erico, he's a very bright individual, but there's just too much testosterone there, and he just can't control himself.
To help the 5 oldest low-rankers avoid the evening free-for-all, Toby and the team have devised a new nightly routine.
What we did was, over the summer, we gradually built up this little subgroup by giving them the access to the cage enclosure overnight, so they had lots of space. And now we have 5 little individuals in that group, and now they have the playroom and 3 bedrooms every single night, and it's going really well. They've really settled down, and it seems to have done them all wonders. So they've all got a bit of companionship and a bit of friendship, and they all come in very happily at night, most nights.
It's time for the group's evening meal. Toby calls them in.
Come on then, guys, everyone in! Sean, Erico, Cara, come on!
Now comes the tricky part, separating the subgroup from the rest. But capuchins are quick learners and have settled into the new routine. There are 5 in the subgroup: Ringo, Marlowe, Abby, Scarlett, all wild caught, and Caesar, the only one rescued from the British pet trade. The team have laid out an evening buffet supper, consisting of rotten logs loaded with mealworms. Perfect for hungry capuchins who love to forage. And as an added treat, Toby has provided whole frozen onions. They'll have to work hard to break them down. Caesar is sticking to foraging for now.
Caesar is a proper little character. He is very human focused. We've had some sort of mixed ones on his ages. I think he's about 31 now. He's starting to show his age and look like a little old man. Managing animals that come from the pet trade is often difficult. Quite often they don't have the social skills required. And although Caesar came from he had a good background and he was well looked after and he lived with Phoebe, he still sort of struggled socially at times and struggled in a big group. And even now, although he is in the subgroup, he is still wary. He is bottom of the group. So if someone's going to get told off, it's going to be Caesar. He will scream and run and make a fuss, and that draws attention to himself.
But this evening, everything's calm as the other 4 take their normal, relaxed approach to supper. Abby demonstrates she's recovered from her recent dental operation when the vet removed 6 rotten teeth. She forages enthusiastically and has no problem eating. The nighttime separation scheme has been a success, and this elderly subgroup are quite at ease with each other. There's been some overnight news for the small monkey team. The marmoset population at the park has increased by 2.
Good girl.
Marge Simpson has just given birth.
So both babies are actually huge. For just less than a day old, they are enormous. She was very big. We, a couple of months ago, thought that there was a very good chance that she'd come in pregnant because she'd started to swell. By the end of it, her belly was ginormous. So she's had a very healthy-sized pair of twins, very, very big babies, but they look wonderful. They're clinging on really tightly. All fingers and toes are there, so they look pretty good.
Marge is already mum to Bart and Maggie, and has experience of bringing up youngsters, albeit under pet trade conditions. But for her established offspring, this will be a new experience. However, they seem to be coping well with the new infants.
With the marmosets, actually the rest of the family will carry the babies round for the majority of the time. Mum will just take them back for feeding. And the two youngsters have actually both done that. Bart straight away, really interested. He wanted to help carry from almost the first sort of hour. And today Maggie has for the first time taken one of the babies as well, so she is now carrying one down round 2, which is great because it's exactly what should be happening. They should work together as a family and everybody else should be helping Mum out with the heavy lifting.
With the ever-increasing waiting list of pet trade marmosets needing rescue, space at the park is limited. Unfortunately, Marge was already pregnant when she arrived 4 months ago. A marmoset's gestation period is around 5 months, and care staff immediately noticed her swollen belly. Bart is almost certainly the father.
That means that they are interbred babies, because in the pet trade these guys were kept in a small cage with just the 3 of them, and unfortunately it is a situation that we see from the pet trade and from animals like this being kept with no knowledge of how to look after them. One of the first things we actually did when we got these 3 was book a vet day for Bart to be vasectomised to try and prevent this from happening, but unfortunately it seems we were too late on that because she was already pregnant.
Despite this, the new twins look healthy. The team hope that, with the addition of the new babies, this marmoset family will remain a tight-knit, contented unit. The marmoset newborns won't be the only newcomers to the park today. The team are preparing for the imminent arrival of Gizmo, who Alison has just rescued from a home in Nottingham.
So the plan is we'll get him in, get him settled, gives us a couple of days to assess him and see what his mobility's like, if he's got any obvious problems. We'll send fecals off to make sure he's nice and healthy and there's nothing we need to worry about there. And then we'll start thinking about introductions. And we do currently have a male called Solomon who's on his own after his partner Hazel, who was a very old girl, finally passed away. So we're hoping that he'll want a new male friend and that the boys will play nicely together. So we'll see.
It's been a long day for Alison and the young marmoset, and it's not over yet. Gizmo needs to be settled into his new home, where he'll have lots of inquisitive neighbours for company.
Sweetheart,
little man.
Dad, he's a bit sad and shy right now, but
Still got a bit grey going on the face.
and you know whether he's hybrid or, but I think he's young. It's okay.
Hey, sorry, little man.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. It's all right.
The team walk the young marmoset across to his new home. For now, he'll have a bedroom of his own. But he'll be close to other marmosets and be able to see and hear them. If he gets a clean bill of health, he can be introduced to Solomon and hopefully become his new housemate. Steph takes the opportunity to weigh Gizmo while he's still inside the travel crate. Once he's released, she'll weigh the crate again to get an accurate weight.
The whole thing is 3.06.
Steph hangs up a few familiar items from Gizmo's previous home to help the marmoset settle in.
We've got so many marmosets here, we really didn't have a specific appropriate partner, although we have 2 single males, one of which hopefully he'll go with. So I agreed to take him, but mainly because I think he was at a point where he was either going to go really downhill quickly, or we could save a young Geoffroys marmoset and turn him back into a healthy individual, because the diet and the environment just were not suitable, and the owners knew it. So at least they've done the right thing.
With everything set, Steph opens the box to let Gizmo into his new bedroom.
Come on, little man. Good boy.
After a nervous start, he begins exploring. Even replying to contact calls from the other marmosets.
Yeah, he's basically checking out his new enclosure. He can obviously hear the other marmosets in the house, which is making him quite sort of overexcited, I think. So yeah, lots to check out, lots of new smells, lots of new sounds. So I would expect him to be a bit antsy and a bit sort of in a rush to check everything out.
Gizmo will be closely monitored over the next few days, put on a healthy diet and given vitamin supplements. He'll also be tested for parasites. But for now, there's plenty of time to settle down, get used to the surroundings and look forward to a bright future with new friends. Next time on Monkey Life. Vets are called to the park due to serious concerns for the health of elderly chimp Zoe, and Alison is apprehensive.
It's always a nerve-wracking day, so getting myself all geared up and hope that everything goes okay.
And the lemurs get to grips with a new tree stump down at Malagasy. Today on Monkey Life. Vets are called to the park due to serious concerns for the health of elderly chimp Zoe, and Alison is apprehensive.
It's always a nerve-wracking day, so getting myself all geared up and hope that everything goes okay.
Mueller's gibbon Dalumie enjoys a pamper session.
What you see right there is a little gibbon giggle.
And the lemurs get to grips with a new tree stump down at Malagasy. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
You just never know how it's going to work.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. The years have flown by since the park first opened in 1987, and many of the chimps are now getting on in life. Some have been at their Dorset home for more than 30 years. At 44, Bixer is believed to be the oldest chimpanzee at Monkey World. As they age, just like humans, they're more prone to aches and pains and serious illness. Female chimp Zoe, one of the first to arrive at the park all those years ago, is giving cause for concern.
Over the last couple of weeks, she's gone downhill. She's slow to get up in the morning, she's off of her food, and then in the last few days, we're finding her in the morning laying down flat on her belly and clearly not comfortable internally. So we think that there's something happening with her, either cramping, gastrointestinally, we don't know. Is she just getting old and this is her body winding down, or does she actually have some pathology that we can help with? So it's always a nerve-wracking day, so getting myself all geared up and hope that everything goes okay.
Alison has called in the vets to take a look. Today's health check is more emotional than ever. It's the first since the tragic sudden death of specialist wildlife vet John Lewis, who had been such an important part of the park. It also marks the first visit to the park for wildlife vet Nic Masters.
He was actually a protege of John Lewis, so that's nice to know. I've heard a whole lot about him in the past, but never actually met Nic Masters. It'll be the first time that he's worked at Monkey World and that we've all worked with him. So I look forward to meeting him, but there'll always be in the back of my mind that I'm missing John.
Good luck. Thank you.
Nic has prepared the anaesthetic drugs so the team can hand inject Zoe. She hasn't responded to any medication, so a proper examination under anaesthetic is called for. Once the drug has taken effect, she's quickly moved to the park's hospital, where Nic and local vet Dave Harding can get to work. Dave begins to insert a drip. Zoe has been off her food and hasn't been drinking much, so they need to rehydrate her. On first inspection, both vets are concerned. There appears to be an abnormal mass in her abdomen.
I mean, that definitely doesn't feel right there.
It could be something to do with Zoe's liver. An ultrasound scan should reveal what's going on.
So the liver definitely has an abnormal, patchy appearance.
It's immediately obvious to Dave the aging female chimp has an enlarged liver. There also seems to be a lot of fluid in the pleural cavity, the space between her organs.
I think before we go any further with this, I think we should do a chest X-ray. It's huge. The liver's huge. I mean, you normally have to go up here, and you know, to see the liver back here is huge.
A chest X-ray may confirm what they already suspect and show any secondary abnormalities. But it doesn't prove conclusive.
What I thought was fluid in the chest, I think is actually just fluid around the liver. The problem seems to be mainly with the liver, but it's difficult to be absolutely certain what the problem is without direct visualization. And we think that given her condition, it's better to get an answer sooner rather than later.
Dave decides to take another look via ultrasound.
There's something major going on in the liver, I'm certain of that. I think the only way we're going to get a definitive answer would be opening her up.
Performing surgery is a last resort. Zoe is already weak, and the odds are against her.
The truth of it is we've got a very sick animal. And I guess, look, if this is hopeless, let's not wake her up.
To give Zoe every possible chance, the vets investigate further, but it only confirms their suspicions. Alison has to decide whether to let Zoe go. It's a tough call, but she knows what's best for Zoe, and the elderly female chimp is helped to pass peacefully.
Pathology in the liver was considered to be just so severe that it was decided that it wouldn't be the right thing to wake her up from that. So unfortunately, the decision was taken to let her go.
It's a blow for the team, but not unexpected.
Yeah, it's awful whenever we lose any of our guys, but I mean, you sort of just have to take a deep breath. She's going to leave a hole in that group. She's definitely going to be missed by all of us.
Zoe was one of the park's original 9 chimps rescued from Spain, where they were cruelly exploited as beach photographers' props. Her future was bleak until Alison's late husband Jim Cronin stepped in. Thanks to Monkey World, she enjoyed more than 30 happy years living with her own kind. It's a little over a week since Geoffroys' marmoset Gizmo arrived at the park from Nottinghamshire. He's settled in well to life at the marmoset domestic house, although he's had a number of health issues which the primate care team have had to address.
When he arrived, we obviously know he'd been on a very high sugar diet. He was drinking quite a lot, so there was thoughts that maybe he had some potentially diabetes. That's kind of stopped now, and he's drinking a normal amount for a marmoset. So obviously being on a normal marmoset diet has helped that, and he's just back to drinking normally. He's eating well. He's still not keen on his vegetables, but the rest of the diet he's eating well. So he's eating the porridge mixture that we give them. He loves insects, particularly locusts and waxworms. He's eating them really well, and he does like fruit. So he is doing well. He's very active. He's always up and about. And with a proper diet, he'll just be feeling a bit more healthy.
Gizmo's general condition gave cause for concern the moment he arrived. The team immediately did fecal checks to discover if he was carrying parasites that would be detrimental to his health and that of any potential housemates. Vet nurse Saffron discovered he had high levels of Giardia.
What we do have is this blue dot here, which actually indicates that the sample is positive.
The parasite can cause a lot of problems in small primates and could help to explain Gizmo's poor appearance.
The Giardia will be causing things like dehydration and diarrhea and gastro upset and things like that, which are all kind of symptoms that you would potentially see with the diabetes as well. So what we're doing is we're keeping a really close eye on him and making sure we're covering all of our bases and monitoring for him for any signs of any other underlying diseases. But what we're going to do first is get this Giardia under control.
Gizmo was prescribed a course of medication to try to eradicate the parasite. But that's easier said than done.
Come on in, buddy. Come on, little man.
The team have had to give the medicine by hand, carefully disguised in grubs and insects.
We have to find out what their favourite foods are, what they're most likely to take it in. We also tend to find the first few days of a course aren't so bad, but when you get sort of further along the course, they get a little bit wise to that there's something extra with the food that you're giving them. And as such, they can get a little bit hesitant to actually take it.
Fortunately, Gizmo is developing a liking for one particular tidbit.
So the waxworms were a no. Let's see if a locust works out instead.
The medication seems to have done the trick. Following further fecal checks, Gizmo has been given the all clear. But there's more hard work ahead for the primate care team before Gizmo can move on to the next step in his rehabilitation.
We can progress now with introductions and hopefully getting him some company and a little marmoset friend. Does mean we've got a bit of work to do because Giardia can kind of hang around. So it comes out in the fecals, but it can, if we've missed a little patch or we've not cleaned it, scrubbed it quite as well, then it can just be loitering around the enclosure. And we're going to bring Solomon down to meet Gizmo here. So what we're going to have to do is take all the branching out, scrub down all of the plastic platforms, which are a lot easier to clean than the branching, so they can stay. But make sure we get rid of all of the porous wood, make sure that's all out, rebranch everything with fresh, clean branching, and at that point then we'll be safe to bring Solomon down.
In a few days' time, the team will double-check for any recontamination, and if everything is clear, Gizmo will be introduced to a brand new housemate, and his new life can begin in full. For the last few months, the maintenance team have been busy extending and renovating the pond woolly house, as well as building them a new outdoor caged enclosure. Work on the outside area is now complete. This morning, the primate care team are going to let Enzo's group of 6 explore it for the first time.
It's a completely new tunnel system, so they might take a little while to actually realise how they have to access the enclosure. So we'll give them a little shout, we'll open those slides. They are very interested. They've been watching us in there now, putting some food in and preparing. So sure, it won't take them long to go out and explore.
This group already have a large outdoor enclosure without a roof, making it open to local wildlife. This new caged enclosure with a roof allows the team to monitor newborns and introductions and gives the monkeys space to get away from each other, which helps reduce stress. It's in a much sunnier spot with plenty of natural foliage and has lots of hosing to move around on. The group should love it. Dominant male Enzo and female Pacaya are first to venture out. She has 5-month-old Esmeralda safely tucked on board. Enzo immediately starts scent marking his new territory, then checks it's safe for the others to follow. 11-year-old Isla feels secure enough to enjoy some breakfast, all the time taking in her new surroundings. 6-year-old Oriana travels along the hosing, checking out and foraging through the shrubs and foliage. But Pacaya's other daughter, 2-year-old Enya, has yet to put in an appearance. Oriana goes back to the tunnel entrance to encourage her out. Eventually, she plucks up the courage and ventures into the new space. Enya is cautious as she makes her way along the hosing. She isn't prepared to stray too far from safety. The enclosure's high vantage point gives the woolies plenty to see. and their excited contact calls attract the attention of their neighbours.
There is a lot of exciting trails, so a lot of it is quite happy. It's fairly intense as well, so I think there's a little bit of apprehension as well, a little bit of concern. There's been some interaction between them and the neighbouring chimpanzee groups. But yeah, a couple of them are wild to come out, so I think those contact calls are really important just to let them all know, because obviously it's something very different, which can be quite scary at the same time.
Once everything has calmed down, Sharon decides it's time to let the group try out the new tunnel system, which connects the house to their larger outdoor enclosure.
I think they're all going to be very, very excited to get back out into the enclosure. It's a perfect day for it. It's nice and mild, sun shining. I can see they're all sort of looking at me quite keen to see what's going to be happening next. So yeah, it'll be quite nice for them.
The slides are opened at both ends of the tunnel, and the group don't need a second invitation. There's no apprehension as they head through the tunnel into their wonderful large open space. It's been a few weeks since they were last here because the maintenance team had work to finish. Woolly monkeys thrive in a stress-free environment and are happy when they're on familiar territory. It's good to be back. At the gibbon complex, Mueller's gibbons Nini and Dalumie are outside enjoying the warm spring sunshine. Paired up when Dalumie lost her long-term partner Adidas, they've now been together for just over a year. It wasn't exactly love at first sight, but Nini is now getting used to living with feisty and more often than not grumpy Dalumie, who's definitely in charge. Today the pair are going to have a training session and a bit of TLC from primate care member Kat.
Dalumie! Hey, Nini. Dalumie! You coming?
Nini and Dalumie both arrived at the park in 2000 from the Ping Tung Rescue Centre in Taiwan. Nini is around 24 years old and his new partner is about 4 years older.
Good girl.
She's first to come over to Kat.
Good girl. You want a treat? You want a treat? You're just going to be grumpy? You're going to be grumpy? Take the sweet. Thank you. So this is Dalumie, our female Mueller's gibbon. She can sometimes be a little bit grumpy, so I have to kind of keep my eye on her at the moment. She likes to come down and do her training session, but as you can see, one of the things she really loves is just to hold hands and have some contact with her favourite keepers. So we usually try and start off any kind of training session with just something really nice and positive like that. Gets her in a nice, calm, happy mood and stops her being really grumpy. So you have to kind of like try and keep the mood as positive as you can. What you see right there is a little gibbon giggle. And Dalumie has got definitely a very resting, grumpy face. When you look at her, she does look like a real grumpy little gremlin. But when she laughs, she completely transforms. And you'll hear this little squeaking noise and see all of her teeth will come on show. It's usually very brief. You're only looking at a second or two that she will usually laugh for. But it is really sweet if you get a chance to see it. Good girl.
Like some other species at the park, in the UK climate, Mueller's gibbons suffer from dry skin that needs constant attention.
These guys naturally come from rainforest areas. There you go, that's the grump. They come from the rainforest areas, really hot, humid areas throughout the whole year. Obviously, our weather conditions don't really reflect that. So quite a few of the species around the park, but in particular the Mueller's gibbons and the orang-utans, you'll see they get really, really dry skin. So that's one of the reasons that we ask people to donate us baby oil so that we can actually moisturise into all of their different parts of their hands and their elbows and things like that. So again, you can see it quite clearly on our hands how dry they actually are there. Another thing that we're kind of looking for is the length and shape of our nails. One of the things that we do with the guys is regularly, using just a little nail file, keep on top of those nails for them. For primates, grooming is really, really important, and it's a really nice way to sort of connect with each other as well. So it's quite nice for her. She obviously, as you can see, she's really relaxed and really enjoying the pampering.
Nini has finally ventured down. He's a bit shy around strangers, and still wary of Dalumie's mood swings.
Nini hasn't really gained a huge amount of confidence around her. He's still not really very sure what he's supposed to do with the ladies. So he's a little bit nervous.
Nini arrived at the park an amputee, possibly the result of an injury when he was stolen from the wild. But he's adapted remarkably well.
Everything that he does with one hand. Now, he obviously has adapted to his foot use, but a lot of the time you will see Nini going across the roof of the enclosure just using one hand, and he brachiates so quickly and catches on. And obviously he does have that sort of half an arm there to help with the weight and counterbalance as well. So he gets around in an amazing way, and we're really quite impressed with what he can do. Well, I think you're all greased up, Dalumie.
But today he's leaving the pampering to Dalumie, who can't get enough of it.
I think she would quite happily stay here for the entire day and just allow us to pay her all the attention in the world. Is that funny?
Down in Malagasy, it's a waiting game. The park's troop of 10 ring-tailed lemurs are patiently watching from inside their overnight enclosure, while the maintenance team manoeuvre a rather large tree stump into position. The care team are hoping it will keep the group occupied and stimulated for some time.
Anything new in an environment for these guys is interesting, so they'll probably come and have a look at it. They'll want to scent mark it because it's new to their territory. And hopefully they might find some tasty grubs and things in there.
The group are let out and make a beeline for breakfast, ignoring the stump. Twins Kurt and Friedrich commandeer a bucket for themselves. Indiana forages on the ground for any peas the others may have dropped. But the tree stump soon grabs the boys' attention, and scent marking begins. Lemurs have extremely long snouts and a wet nose. Scent is a much more important sense to them than other primates.
Scent marking is one thing that they do all of the time. And all of the boys want to be the last animal to scent a particular thing. And it can be anything. It can be a stick on the floor or a bucket if we're cleaning. But they always want to be the last one to scent it. And then it smells of them and it's, in theory, their territory. So it is very important for them.
But with all the scent marking going on, foraging around the stump hasn't even started. To encourage them to try, Karen throws some raisins amongst the roots. It soon pays dividends. One lemur not participating in this morning's enrichment is Kaya. She's still recovering from a nasty leg injury and subsequent surgery, following an attack by another lemur a couple of months ago.
We have started introducing her back to the group, so she's actually met everyone again. She has still got a slight limp on that leg, which she will have for a long time. If she was a person, she would be on pretty much bed rest, a lot of physiotherapy. We obviously can't do that. So she is in the overnight a lot more than she is out in the full enclosure, and that's just to give her a little bit more cage rest. What we're seeing is expected, but obviously we do have to restrain her a little bit from being too active.
The others are under no such restrictions. Having had their fill, the troop are making full use of their wonderful tree-filled enclosure. The stump will stay in place for some time, so they can come back to it whenever they want. But for now, they're just enjoying the sun. Next time on Monkey Life. Females RoRo and Lucky are reintroduced in the hope they can learn to live together, but immediately come to blows.
RoRo's really surprised us. She's really stood her ground, had a bit of a go at Lucky.
And the wonder of woolies. Carlos is at full stretch for a breakfast treat. Today on Monkey Life. Females RoRo and Lucky are reintroduced in the hope they can learn to live together, but immediately come to blows.
RoRo's really surprised us. She's really stood her ground, had a bit of a go at Lucky.
Alison plans a house swap between Bart's group and the bachelor chimps.
It certainly will be interesting to see what happens with all of those characters, because let's face it, these groups are just ongoing little soap operas, and complicated ones at that.
And the wonder of woolies, Carlos is at full stretch for a breakfast treat. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I can't keep her in, get her in. Okay, got it.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. The park is home to 2 adult groups of orangutans, plus a nursery group. Over the years, the team have carefully managed each individual, moving animals around to ensure they all have a home in which they can thrive and enjoy life. But there has been one persistent problem in Tuan's group. 2 of the adult females, RoRo and Lucky, just don't like each other.
It is a nightmare, and it has been going on for years and years. It's a very difficult thing to do in a rescue sanctuary, keeping solitary animals together in a group. Sometimes it works, sometimes it goes wrong. We have to move the guys about every so often.
For the last few years, the team have had to manage this difficult situation to prevent the pair coming to blows and causing each other serious injury. The 2 females take it in turns to spend the day outside with the rest of the group, while the other remains indoors with a friend for company.
Clever girl.
But this morning, the orangutan team are going to try once more to persuade RoRo and Lucky they can live together in harmony.
Miss RoRo, it's gonna be a big day today. Make sure you stay cool, okay?
The team have decided to take advantage of the summer's longer days and warmer nights to be more flexible with the group's inside and outside access.
We are so keen to use this opportunity while the weather is great. We're literally going to give 24-hour access outside and inside. So the orangutan will decide themselves where to sleep. If they want to go inside, they can. If they want to stay sleeping outside, they can. And hopefully, after 2 days, no one be inside. Everybody can go outside every day.
In the wild, orangutans are more solitary animals, but at the park they can benefit from companionship. The team are preparing a bumper package of enrichment today to keep their minds on food and not each other.
Tuan loves this browse, and I want Tuan to stay busy eating browse all day long. That would be ideal for me.
Browse is one of their favourite foods, and by putting it up high where they'll have to climb to reach it, the team are hoping it will keep them busy and distracted. They're also going to stagger the release.
I'm just going to let Tuan, Awan, Ame, RoRo, and Hujan out first. Lucky will keep behind. And then soon they're happy, climbing around like that. I will put Lucky join with the group.
Everything is set. Alison and the team are keeping their fingers crossed. Lucky and RoRo have never managed to truly live in harmony together before, but everyone is hoping they can be successfully reacquainted today. First out are Awan and Ame, immediately heading up high to check out the fresh browse. They're followed by Hujan and RoRo. RoRo took on the responsibility of surrogate mum to 4-year-old Hujan when he arrived 2 years ago. He's another reason for the team to retry this introduction. Although Hujan still depends on RoRo, he's becoming a little more independent. Everyone living happily together would give him access 7 days a week to this wonderful enclosure, instead of having to keep RoRo company when it's her turn to remain indoors. Alpha male Tuan has made his way outside too. With all 5 tucking into the morning's enrichment, Jarno decides it's time to let Lucky out. A final scatter of fresh strawberries to keep everyone occupied.
Right, I'm gonna send you Lucky, yeah?
Go for it.
And he opens the slide. Lucky cautiously enters the enclosure. She normally has the upper hand with RoRo, helped by her close relationship with Tuan. But to everyone's surprise, the tables are turned. RoRo heads straight for Lucky. What follows is a full-on fight.
Yeah, RoRo, attack.
Orangutans have huge canine teeth that can do some serious damage.
Hey, lady!
The team watch on anxiously. Sensibly, Hujan keeps well out of harm's way. The last thing anyone wants is for the youngster to be caught up in the middle of the scrap. Seconds later, alpha male Tuan steps in to split the two apart.
That's good. Well done.
He gives Lucky a stern telling off and stays with RoRo. But the altercation doesn't end there. RoRo comes back for more, and once again, Tuan has to intervene. However, Jarno is confident the two females will soon sort it out.
This is good. I want them to get exhausted first, and then they will be sort of calm down.
The rest of the group take the ruckus in their stride, and Lucky finally heads up high to sulk and lick her wounds.
RoRo's really surprised us. She's really stood her ground, had a bit of a go at Lucky. Tuan's got involved, sorted them out, but RoRo's definitely had the upper hand with that one, but I don't think she's had the last say yet.
Minutes later, Lucky is back on the ground, using the 80-kilogram bulk of Tuan as a wall to hide behind. Above them, RoRo puts on a bit of a display.
She's using her normal, usual tactic, clinging to Tuan for protection, just to keep herself nice, safe and comfortable.
Time for another distraction from the primate care team. Jarno throws in pieces of pepper and bottles of low-calorie juice. It seems to work. The atmosphere calms down and everyone does their own thing. The team decide to leave them to it for the rest of the day while keeping a watchful eye on proceedings. Bedtime tonight could prove to be another eventful affair. The key to Monkey World's success is the team's devotion to the needs of the primates in their care. The number of animals needing rescue and the ability of the sanctuary to cope with them has determined the park's development and growth. It's been that way since it opened its doors back in 1987.
It's been 34 years since Monkey World started, and at that point in time with a purpose specifically to rescue chimpanzees that were being smuggled from the wild to be used as beach photographers' props in Spain. And it's hard to believe that in that time, the park's evolved to become a global primate rescue center. So we're bringing in a variety of species of primate from around the globe now. And over the years, we've rescued more than 70 chimpanzees. It's staggering.
The makeup of the 4 chimp groups at the park today has evolved over the years. One, the Bachelor Boys, was set up for individual males who weren't good in large, social, mixed-sex groups.
In the beginning, it was a very difficult and tense group when there was only, say, 6 or so individuals in it, but then it's easier to get mean and nasty and dislike somebody if you're in a small group of people. Once we sort of hit the number of 8, 9, 10, from that point on, the aggression tends to dissipate a little bit because odds are that somebody that you might not like has other friends, and now you have to start weighing up whether your challenge of that person is worth it because you might get beat up if his friends are stronger than yours. So it became a bit easier to introduce males into the group when it got bigger because it wasn't such a close-knit group.
For many years, the bachelors were led by Butch, ably backed up by his henchmen, Jestah and Buxom. But Butch is getting on in life, and at 38 years old, although being respected by the others, has fallen down the rankings. It's left a void at the top. The younger generation, like Paco and Mojo, are attempting to fill, and that's causing an issue.
Right now, with 14 individuals in there, we are having a bit of a shift and change in power. They are more volatile. They are a little more edgy. So things are shifting in there, and that does create tension.
It's led to some fallings out and the resulting squabbles to cuts and bruises. It's clear to Alison and the team that something needs to be done to ease the pressure on the bachelors. And they think they have the perfect solution. A chimp house swap. The bachelor boys are going to exchange homes with Bart's group. For the past few years, the pavilions, which houses both groups separately, has been undergoing a total rebuild. Bigger bedrooms and interconnecting tunnels have been built, linking the bachelor's house and enclosure with Bart's. The work on Bart's bedrooms is now complete, and the team think that the extra space there, combined with the change of scene outside in a different enclosure, will be perfect for the bachelor boys.
It was the obvious solution to swap those groups over because Bart's group will accommodate that much better. They're much calmer, and together they all respect and love Bart, and that gives the bachelors more space. All of those new bedrooms, tunnel systems, maximizes the area and the housing for the boys and hopefully keeping them calmer.
After months of planning, the house swap is ready to proceed, and Alison is excited for both groups.
It certainly will be interesting to see what happens with all of those characters, because let's face it, these groups are just ongoing little soap operas, and complicated ones at that. And I think for the chimps, they're just going to be excited, and it's going to breathe a breath of life back into the older generation. At least that's what I'm hoping. I think it's going to be a good thing.
It's a big day for one of the park's newest arrivals. It's been 2 weeks since marmoset Gizmo was rescued from Nottingham, and he's come on leaps and bounds. His final medical checks have come back all clear, and the primate care team are happy to move forward with his rehabilitation. The next stage, and possibly the most important, is companionship.
So we've got Solomon up, so we're going to put him next door and kind of see what the initial reaction is. I'm hoping for, well, ideally, some positive interaction, some nice faces would be great. But if not, as long as there's no hostility, I'll be happy. Give them a couple of minutes of mesh contact, and if it looks all right, we'll just open up and see what they make of each other.
Like Gizmo, Solomon was a victim of the British pet trade. He was just a baby when he was rescued from a home in Merseyside in 2010. The tiny marmoset was being kept in a small hamster cage and being fed through a syringe. Despite his poor start, he's thrived at the park. But following the loss of his housemate Hazel, he needs a new companion, and the team are hoping he's about to get one.
Solomon has lived with a male in the past, Little Moon, that he helped raise with Hazel for a while. So I'm hoping that means he'll be tolerant of another boy, but we'll just have to see.
Solomon has been brought up to the domestic marmoset house in a specially designed travel crate and released into a bedroom, with Gizmo waiting next door. The two males will be able to see and hear each other and get close. The mesh in between them should reduce the chance of them causing harm to each other. The pair seem keen to meet.
I think we're just going to go for it and open the slides and see what happens. Gizmo looks very keen.
Steph opens the slide, and Solomon wastes no time heading in to meet Gizmo. He's smaller than the new arrival, but he's not at all fazed. His experience with other marmosets has served him well, and it's not long before Gizmo starts following his new companion around.
Solomon, he's got good manners. He's sort of going up, he's not making any negative noises. He's very interested in Gizmo. But no real hostility, no big sort of posturing or anything. It's looking all right.
The icing on the cake for Steph and the team comes as Gizmo starts grooming Solomon.
Grooming's a wonderful sign. It's what these guys do to strengthen their sort of pair bond, to spend quality time together. So to see Gizmo doing it's really nice. It's also nice to know that Gizmo knows those behaviours. There's a lot of the pet trade guys coming in haven't got a clue when it comes to social etiquette and social behaviour. So really nice to see that Gizmo knows how to do that and that Gizmo wants to do that with Solomon. That's really nice.
The introduction has gone well, and things are looking positive. If the pair bed down together later in the day, the team will leave them overnight.
So we'll be keeping a very close eye on these guys. We'll be watching them all day today, and most likely all day tomorrow as well. Keeping everything crossed, but we are off to a really promising start.
It's been just over a year since the park set up its first all-male woolly monkey bachelor group. There are now 6 boys in the troop, the newest arrivals being 2-year-old Lemmy and his friend 4-year-old Cassius. So far, the pair have settled in well to life with the more mature males. Today, the primate care staff have come up with an interesting idea which will challenge the woollies' brain power, patience and perseverance, as well as their physical prowess. Kate's recycled some old chopping boards and has turned them into unique feeders.
Drilled in some holes, and then we've made up this delicious enrichment for them. So it's just oats and berries. So the idea behind this is that it will stay in the holes and it will take them a bit longer to get it out.
The breakfast smeared boards will be suspended high up around the enclosure. If they want to tuck in, the boys will need to climb and use their tails for balance to reach the tasty treats. Everything is set and the slide is opened. The boys don't hang around. Claude quickly makes a beeline for one of the hanging boards. To avoid any conflict, there's plenty to go around, but it's harder than it looks. The boards are constantly moving, so keeping control of them is challenge number 1. Master that, and there's still the tricky issue of manipulating the slippery, mushy breakfast out of the holes. This is where the woolly monkey's long, strong, prehensile tail comes into play. It works as a 5th limb, and they use it to anchor themselves and free up their hands to get at the food. Carlos demonstrates the technique perfectly. He's nearly 6 and already a big, strong male. In years to come, he could be a potential rival for the top spot in the hierarchy. That position is currently held by Paolo, acknowledged as not the brightest woolly in the park, but a strong and agile leader all the same. The enrichment is proving a great success with the whole troop. The team took into account their age and size when making and arranging the board feeders.
Most of the guys in here, they are strong. They can adapt well with their tails. But then we do have little Lemmy. He's very small, so we have to make sure that he can get his share as well. We did put a couple up near some hosing, but to our amazement, he even tried to get the more difficult ones. And he was brilliant. He was using his tail, stretching right across, and it was just so lovely to see him involved as well.
Eventually, the morning exertion takes its toll, and the full and content bachelor woolies relax and soak up the sunshine. It's late afternoon, and at Tuan's outdoor enclosure, the reintroduction of female orangutans Lucky and RoRo is continuing. Things have calmed down since RoRo's preemptive morning attack on Lucky, which caused Tuan to step in and split them up. With the big male keeping an eye on things, RoRo has been reduced to prodding Lucky with a bit of browse, much to Alison and the care team's amusement. Jarno is using the lull in proceedings to check the girls over for injuries.
Looking pretty good. Just tiny scratch there. She can defend herself pretty well, I think.
But the day is coming to a close, and Jarno wants the two females to continue getting reacquainted. It means giving them indoor and outdoor overnight access via the tunnel system which connects the two areas. But there's a small issue. 4-year-old Hujan, who looks on RoRo as his foster mum. He's still too young to stay outside overnight, so Jarno needs to get him inside with an adult for company. Tonight, it falls to Ame to become the youngster's temporary carer.
This is definitely the safest option to keep everybody sort of peace in mind.
But first, they need to get the whole group inside in order to separate Hujan and Ame from the others. A tempting cup of peanut butter and honey does the trick.
Another magic cup for Ame. Keep it in that room. Straight away join Ame to Hujan.
Minutes later, all the orangutans are where they should be and enjoying their treat. Time to open up the slides to enable Hujan to join Ame.
I am ecstatic today. I am so pleased. I'm so happy. I've been sort of planning this for long time, and RoRo behavior is surprised me a lot. Hopefully tomorrow even better.
Hujan is safe and settling down with Ame. The rest of the troop can come and go, inside and out, giving rivals RoRo and Lucky plenty of room to avoid each other and work out their differences. The team are hoping nighttime at Tuan's will be a peaceful and stress-free affair. Next time on Monkey Life. The team have their work cut out for the biggest house swap in the park's history, with the Bachelor boys moving to Bart's and Bart's moving to the Bachelors.
It might be quite noisy from here on in.
And Capuchin Erico tries to lick the Big Ice Lolly Challenge with brute force.